Hello and g'day, and we're here today with our special guest Luke from the show. Introduce yourself and introduce your channel and any plugs you want to give out of what you've got going on with social media at the moment, mate.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I'm Luke. Good chatting you. Are you going by Sep these days, or what are you going by now?
Yeah, so that's my main name. That's my real name. That's
Okay.
fine. But if my handle for my games that I play is the Drop Bear Gym.
Okay, it is
Yeah,
Strawberry because I remember
yeah,
you being on my podcast like almost gosh like a year ago now,
yeah. A long
and
time ago.
yeah, I like the Drop Bear name, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, if you don't know me, whoever's watching this, I mean, probably most people, if you do know me, would be from my original. It was called Luke Plays to Earn channel, so it just started off. Gosh, drop bear. It's been a long time.
yeah,
It's 2021 at this point, so it's almost I think coming up on 2 years, which doesn't seem like it was that long ago. But which I guess 2 years isn't that much, but in the world of crypto, it seems like a long time.
a lot changes in like months
Yeah,
and weeks, you know. So
yeah.
definitely.
So yeah, I started it when kind of the second wave. I feel like early 2021 was like the big blowing up of the initial wave of Axie, Splinterlands, and some other things. And then I started my channel in September, and it was like September to December, we are all like, yeah, this is the best thing ever. It's
Yeah.
blown up. We're all gonna be millionaires, right? That was those few months, and they
Go
were
the
nice.
bull run.
Yeah, it helped my channel pop off because I kind of just hit it at the right place, right time. Had done previous YouTube stuff, so I knew how to make a video, how to work the algorithm a bit, stuff like that. So yeah, it was mostly Splinterlands. I started playing other games, but really what took off my channel was the intro guide to Splinterlands. I did a beginner's guide, and I feel like Splinterlands was even less complicated then, but still super complicated. So it was like an
Yeah.
hour long beginner video, like just to explain everything that was going on. And now if I did it again, I'm like, man, this thing probably be like 2 hours, especially when land comes out, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of what really initially took off, and now I'm doing some other things, but I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah. What do you got up to at the moment? What's the other things you're doing? Are you doing like tech stuff, or are you just being
Yeah. So basically, that channel led me to a full-time job with Balthazar. So if you've ever seen Balthazar NFT Gaming,
yeah,
they're building an SDK wallet for gaming, Web3.
nice,
They do a bunch of research reports,
yeah,
and I've done videos for them for about uh, a little over a year as well. So
nice,
that wasn't Splinterlands focused. We did maybe a couple of videos, but other than that, it was like really just anything and everything. Illuvium, Star Atlas, Big Time, and then some other smaller games as well. Like whatever we could cover, we were covering.
Is that
Um,
fun? Do you still play some of them games now?
so yeah. So recently though, what happened was I enjoy doing content, but I think for me, what I realized is while I can be good at marketing, it's just not like what brings me energy. It doesn't give me life, right?
Drains you, yeah,
Like I like being creative. I like making the content, and I can do all the social media posting. I can try to hype things up, but I just don't enjoy the promotion side of it as much, and I just like the creativity side of it. So I've kind of taken a step back from content. I started up a coding boot camp, and so I'm actually learning to program right now, and
that could come in
uh,
handy.
maybe a little bit of gaming. I don't know, but probably
You,
not. The
you might
gaming
do your
industry
own.
is kind of rough. That's the debate. So, gaming, the industry is pretty rough, and it's pretty. A lot of people have said the industry is kind of broken in a lot of ways. I don't know how much we want to get into that, but it kind of scares me. I'm like, maybe I'll just have more of a stable job and do some like indie game development on the side just for fun as a hobby. It's kind of my current thought, but who knows.
Yeah, and if it kicks off, it kicks off. You know, get something popular that everyone likes and is behind, and then you can work on it and run your side hustle. It sounds like a good side hustle.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I don't know enough to say that I can be good at it yet, so we'll see.
One day at a time. Everything will slowly build on top of each other, if you know what I mean. If you get through it,
Yeah,
especially if you're at that stage, if you're getting through it, so
yeah,
become quicker. Nice,
yeah.
bro.
So for all that, the Web3 game time that I dedicate is definitely less. I still enjoy Splinterlands, still play Splinterlands on the regularly, but I'm not I always joke. I can't remember. I think it was Rick on the Mountain show. I kind of joke like I don't worship the game anymore. And what I mean by that
I
is
understand.
like it was kind of funny, but when seriously in the bull run, I'm like, man, this feels kind of like a church where it's like we're all going to our town hall service each week. We're all taking notes. We're all spending hours and hours each week trying to like figure out the best strategies. I don't know. It was really funny comparison. But uh, all that to say is like I still play the game. I just don't like go to the town halls. I'm not like I'll vote on a proposal if I care about it real quick, but I'm not gonna go debate it or make a content piece about it and read through all the comments. And some people spend. I don't know how much time do you spend, I guess, on Splinterlands
Well,
each week?
that's the thing, I used to spend a lot more time, but I think during that period of time, once we got relaxed more and we had the rise of the bots during that time, because during that time there wasn't as many, so they're still around, but they weren't as good as the ones we have now. If you understand
Right.
what I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
because they weren't as good, we used to play a lot more, and it was more challenging to play because you knew more than likely you're playing against someone else. If you understand what I mean. So
Yep.
it could be something to do with the fun aspect is maybe gone a bit because it's more like I'm unsure of that though exactly. But what is your thoughts on the Stan and everyone getting salty about the bot situation? But apparently they're trying to integrate that. If you missed out what's happened, so
Proposal's coming, right?
yeah,
Did it
yeah.
pass or is it still being voted
I
on? I haven't
haven't
looked.
checked. Haven't checked.
Last time I
Yeah.
checked, it was like 67%. It was like just passing, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
So that's
changed. But
what is it? Modern. They're trying to ban bots from, so it'd be more like
yeah,
just yeah,
which is honestly the proposal itself is surprising to me because there was a point where they always talked about bots. Bots are going to be part of the game, and I, when I was really into making content for Splinterlands, people were complaining about the bots, even a few months into the channel. And as you said, it kind of got worse and worse over time to a point where I'm like, guys, they're literally never going to ban bots. Like, if you just don't agree with bots, then just find a different game.
game.
Like,
Yeah,
that's what I was starting to tell people. So the fact that there's even a proposal out there and it looks like it passed 74%. So
yeah.
there you go. They're
That
going to
shoots it at
attempt
down. Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so it might give an interesting twist on it, and plus, if that does pass and they're able to actually integrate it, then the rewards, everyone might get hyped again because the rewards are going to be more because there's not as many bots draining on that one, and you've got to manually play it yourself if everything works out right. So that could be a good direction, if you
So
know
you
what I mean.
voted yes?
I didn't vote at all
Oh, you didn't vote. Why not?
because, as you said, I went back to work, and because I
Okay.
went back to
Yeah,
work. I
sure.
like the bot to play for me, but the other hand, I see the reasons why not to have the bot. So but they did say you can still use it in wild. So I just looked at
Yeah.
it as I didn't want to vote either way because I understand both and both
Yeah.
reasons, and I just didn't want to voice my opinion on it because I didn't think it was. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know if you watched Bulldog's video on it, but I really like what he had to say, and I think a lot of people are really against the bots, which if you're a manual player playing the game, then of course it's frustrating. But what he said was, I don't prefer bots, but if they're going to be there, I'm going to play, and I'm almost going to treat it like a sim game, right? Where, a lot of people will say, well, bots shouldn't be in any video game. Well, if you look at a sim management game, like there's a lot of people who won't play FIFA, but they'll play whatever it's called, Football Manager yada yada, right?
mm,
And so I think for Splinterlands, what we've seen is it almost has an identity crisis to me, where you have a lot of TCG players who want to be, hey, I only want to play against players. I want this to be skill based. I want to have tournaments, esports, all these things, and really make it about, showing that you're the best TCG player. And then you have other people who are more excited about the sim management of the game, managing your bot, managing the economy, flipping cards, doing those types of things. And so I think this this is a way to attempt to please both sides, I feel like, if they
yeah,
can pull it off. Because you can still have like I could see a world where you just don't even call it modern wild. You say like, here's your TCG format that's
yeah,
modern. This is your like human player skill based matchup. And then if you want to go play in wild, now it's called, sim, Splinterland sim management or whatever. You kind of set up your bot, and maybe it recommends bots for you, gives you a warning. I don't know what to do. Maybe
yeah.
that's a little too extreme, but that's how I kind of feel and see it potentially playing out if it works. Maybe you hit both crowds still.
Yeah, it might entice me more, like I said, if they did that though, to actually play more manually myself. I still play manually myself though. Like I probably only do it for about 2 or 3 days when I'm off on the weekend. I'll have like a few whole heap of matches and turn my bot off. I
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
I usually don't use the bot though when I'm doing my guild battles. I submit them myself
Right.
still. Everyone keeps telling me, no, you got to use the helper. You got to thing. It's going to be so much better. I just don't though. Yeah,
Yeah, I know there's plenty of tools, and I think that's part of the debate as well,
yeah.
right? Like you can't really remove the tools.
Tools,
I
no.
mean, I think as Bulldog also mentioning, like Xbox has that helper tool. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not going to submit a battle for you, but you could still look at what it would submit and then just submit it yourself. So
Then you can change out things, and but you're still slightly changing them. So yeah,
yeah, I mean, you don't have to change. I mean, I think there is a human element still. Like, I guess you could submit exactly what the bot says, or you could use that, as you said, to kind of tweak your team. Or there's still the human element of like, you look at the team that the bot's giving you, you're like, well, that's a crappy team, and so you decide to go with something else. Maybe I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Are you using a bot at the moment, or are you just playing manually, or
No,
when you do
I'm
play?
just playing manually. So
Yeah.
I had a few bots going at one point, and then I kind of shut them all down. I've just the last year's kind of been wild. There's kind of been all over the place with Splinterlands. There's a point where I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to play at all. I'm just going to rent out all my cards using um, what's the Archmage rental thing? I
Oh,
forget what it's called now.
Splex,
Golem or
Golem.
Splex. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So there's a point I wasn't playing at all. There was a point where I was just playing Scholarship for Balthazar because they were doing a full Diamond Chaos Legion deck. Then there was a point where I started selling cards to go from silver and just buy 2 decks into Diamond. That's kind of what I'm doing now. So I'm down to one
Nice.
account.
Congrats.
And yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's a big jump. The last time I think you were in
it,
silver.
so it
Yeah,
is a big jump.
yeah,
But the funny thing is, like, I feel like I could play in silver with a full deck, or I could sell those cards and then just buy 2 decks in diamond. So why not? Like,
yeah.
sure, there's a couple times here or there where I'll have to surrender a match because the specific element isn't there to play. But most of the time I do decently well. I barely hit champion last season still,
Good.
and so why not play in diamond?
Your rewards are
If you
better too. Yeah, much better
yeah,
than
unless
yeah.
you're playing in tournaments. Like if you're gonna play in tournaments, you're gonna need a full deck.
Mm.
So I'm not playing in tournaments. I just don't really have the time for them. I like the tournament format better though, for sure.
Like I said, I've never been a tournament advocate, and I've played. I think I've tried to play at one or two, and it's not that good. Is it usually profitable to use the tournaments and to play for them, or it's not as profitable, or what's the go? Because I'm
Yeah, I don't know. I
unsure.
think it has to. It's kind of a skill thing. I know someone in my guild who's always topping the charts and just raking a lot of SPS. Rogue Patton from YGG, is the same
Yeah.
kind of way. I did hear recently though that the bots are becoming a problem there too, where one of the guildmates was like always top 10, top 20, and now not topping the charts quite as much.
Yeah. Because of our little bot friends.
Sorry about that. My dog is very
Nice.
angry.
What type of dog have you got?
He's a little some kind of terrier mix.
Oh, nice.
We call him Sir Reginald the Third because he only has 3 legs. So
Are you kidding? How did you get him like that, or did you lose it when you were?
yeah,
Yeah,
we don't know what happened. We
yeah.
adopted him, and they said he was a stray, so they don't know either. But I'm. It seems like some probably car accident or something like that was their guess.
Yeah. So, any other games you've been playing at the moment? Did you play? Talking about Golem, did you play Golem Overlord?
No, so that's the thing is like I'm seeing all my guildmates and stuff play this. I'm like, oh, it sounds
I'm
fun. But I'm
playing
like,
it.
do I really want to spend more time trying to learn another game and manage that? And like,
Yeah.
I think there was a point where I was probably playing, especially when it was my job, I was probably playing like 4 or 5 games. Trying to manage Splinterlands and Rising Star and Sunflower Land and test out whatever undead blocks and stuff like
Are
that.
you still playing the
But
Rising Star and the other ones then?
no, I'm
No.
not. I just like. That's the thing about Web3 gaming, right? Is like, especially when the market is low, it's like it's really hard to have motivation. And I think for
Mm,
some people, their motivation is well, if I play now and it blows up, then I'm gonna make a bunch.
mm,
But I'm not as optimistic about a lot of gaming tokens anymore as I used to be.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of flaws in the system, and so it's for me. It's like, do I really want to, dedicate another hour each day to get 10 cents of rewards when I could just do something else that's more fun?
Yeah, I understand. And you could buy a token you do want, and you have more faith
Yeah.
in. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of how I feel about it right now. Is unless I really enjoy the game, and there's not many Web3 games that I really enjoy these days.
okay, cool.
So
Right, it's perfect.
yeah,
What's your favorite Web 2 game then? We'll spin the turners and we'll go into Web 2.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right now it's between Overwatch and Valorant. It's kind of really what's been fun is you can actually see our second PC back there,
yeah, nice.
and down there you can see the monitors at least.
Yeah, I can
And
see.
uh, never thought my wife would get into PC gaming,
Mm,
but she got finally hooked in, and part of it is that her siblings all play now as well. So
cool.
we'll jump on, and some nights we'll do a full five stack on Overwatch or Valorant, or sometimes they'll want to play Phasmophobia, stuff like that. So for me, it's not so much about like best game right now; it's more of just kind of the social aspect. I do think I enjoy Overwatch probably the most, but
You get
it's
to
a toss up.
hang out and spend time with the missus. It'd be good. It'd be good, great if my missus
Yeah.
wanted to do that. She wouldn't do nothing like that. She rather does other stuff.
Well,
You're
that's
lucky.
that's what I
You're
said
lucky.
though.
You're lucky.
That's what I said. But this is the key. You got to start them out on Nintendo games. That's what I found. So
So then they're not doing free 4 dimensional.
right.
Yeah,
So well, she kind of grew up on the Wii. Her family wasn't a gaming family, but they would like at certain times play like Mario Kart or some like Wii Sports thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so she wasn't like completely unfamiliar, but was never considered a gamer. Wasn't like I would choose to do this as my hobby myself. But once we got married, we had a Switch, so we would play. She would play like Mario, Super Mario Bros, and stuff like that with me. So played that for a few years, played Pikmin, and then really what hooked her, I think, into PC gaming was Breath of the Wild. She finally was willing to play that, which is
Mm.
like it was a big step up because I was like the first like actual combat in a game, right? And so I think she actually fell in love with the game more than I did. So she's really excited for next week when the second one comes out. But I think that actually helped her transition into a little bit more intense games on the PC, which I was surprised by, but happily surprised.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
cool. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
I mean, I'm curious, kind of what's your thoughts on Web3 gaming? I mean, you've been in this. I think you got into Splinterlands around the same time as me, right? So are you
I was in a bit before then. I
before?
was
So before
yeah,
me, okay.
yeah.
So you've seen kind of the last 2 years, Bull Run to Bear Run. You've seen it all. What's kind of your thoughts now? Are you still like, this is really going to take off? Is this just kind of like, oh, this is kind of a fun side gig for me? What are you viewing Splinterlands and Web3 gaming as these days?
I stepped back a little bit as well. You know what I mean? So I just deliberately stepped back a little bit. I still do it like a bit, but like I says, I increased to like champion or whatever, reduced back down, and then increased again, then reduced back down, and now I'm sort of reduced back down again. It's sort of what I do. I fluctuate in between both, and then I find other projects or other things I want to get into. If you sort of know what I mean, so I just swap around a bit. But I've always
Other
kept.
games, or are they like just
Oh,
other crypto projects in general?
sometimes it just depends. Yeah, it could be either or both. I have played Spinnerlands the whole time though. So like even if I do drop down a bit and I decide okay I've had enough, it's like you said I have enough after a period of time, and I get sick of watching town halls or doing this and then trying to figure out what's been going on for a few months. I just need a few months of break, if you know what I mean. Sometimes, as we
Yep,
all do. So,
yep.
but like I've never fully left the project, if you know what I mean, because I've got a guild as well, so that makes it difficult. So I think maybe if I didn't have the guild, I might have left way beforehand.
I think so too. I think
Yeah,
there's a point for me like that. I
yeah.
mean, that's a good question. Is do you actually still enjoy Splinterlands, or is it kind of this just this drug that you can't kick? You know, like
Like
have you been?
gambling.
How many times have you been tempted to actually just sell out and quit?
Like I said, I sort of do that. Like when I get like that, but I don't sell everything. I sell a bit off, but I still stay because then that way I can Still play if I want to play, you know what I mean. But I can just always hire. So but what I figured out, what I usually hire, it usually costs me about 20 US for 2 days to hire now. If I what I need to play for what level I play at, if you know what I mean, about
You're
25.
hiring someone to play the
No,
game
no, no.
for you?
If I play
Oh.
myself, so
Oh, I see.
say if I decide to get rid of all my max cards because I get sick of hiring, then
Right, right.
then if I do that instead of owning them, it will usually cost me about 20 to 30 US dollars to hire the cards I need to play in modern.
Got it.
If you
Okay.
understand what I mean for the 2 or 3 days.
So
Yeah,
renting is
yeah.
do you call it hiring?
Yeah, man. I think because we got a different slang, it's like ketchup and tomato sauce, you know.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like picturing like, are you hiring like an actual? That's why I was like, are you hiring a person to play?
No,
Like, you
no.
have a bot?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no,
Got
no,
it.
no,
Got it.
no,
Got it.
no. So like it's like I said, I'm still bullish on it. I'm excited for land. To tell you the truth, I did pull some good lands, but by saying that too, I sold them good lands straight away.
Yeah.
I didn't keep the good lands. I looked at it as that I wouldn't be able to populate the card and give it like I didn't have a Rooney, didn't have a max totem, all these extra funds. I'm thinking I'm going to have to put in. It was like
Right.
too much for me to keep the max land where I can just do whatever with a common or a magic or a occupied or something else. Just a little bit down a bit, and I get more use out of it. Where I was like, what would have done? There we go. We'll switch the tides instead of remaking it all about me. What would have done if you had, say, a legendary magic land?
You had a legendary magic
I
land?
did. I got it from a pool.
What?
Yeah.
How much did you sell that for?
Oh, about two and a half, 2 grand or something. I should have got more for it, but yeah. And I had no land. This is how arsey this is, right? I had no land, and then I turned around and I decided it was about to be everyone was going to reveal. I'll just buy two, and I brought two, and I got it
Right.
out of two.
Oh my gosh. That is insane. So
That's
yeah,
good.
my land story is not that lucky.
Yeah,
I did pull an epic though, so that was
that's
good.
nice. Yeah.
And basically, I never planned on buying land. So
Mm,
I think you've had Steve R on the show,
yeah.
or we've talked to him. He gifted me a land long time ago, which was super generous, and so I kept it, and I mostly kept it because it was a gift from him.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of feeling the same way as you. It's like as they started revealing more and more about land, I'm like, this just doesn't seem fun. This just seems like now I just have to buy up a bunch of more things. So
Mm.
like, what's the point? And especially without more details, it's really hard to know. Is it going to be worth the output? Is it going to be worth the rewards, anyways? Right. So I kept it and I revealed it because I'm like, you know what? It's fun to have one, whatever. It's a gift from Steve. I really appreciate it. And so I feel bad. Like I don't want to just sell it and like get rid of his gift. So
Yeah,
I
of
opened it
course.
I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah,
epic. That's sweet.
that's
So
nice.
I'm kind of in the same boat of you. Like I don't know what to do with it. I didn't buy any of like the extra totems or things like that. So I'll probably just work it, just see what comes out of it. Probably not going to get as much production as I
Uh,
could,
you'll
but
still get a lot.
if I pulled a legendary magic, I would be a lot more tempted to sell it. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, but no, it's a gift. If I would have been given that though, I probably wouldn't have sold. I just would have held on to it. I was debating to hold on to it too. It took a few days of me deciding what I wanted to do, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
But like I said,
I mean,
yeah, kick 'em.
yeah. I for me, like the land part goes back to that kind of sim management game style to me, which I don't enjoy as much. So I think
Mm,
personally, if I pulled a legendary magic land, I think if I was going to keep it in the game and not just take it out for whatever, I would probably have sold it and just bought more cards or saved some of that in
yeah,
HBD or whatever, some stable coin, so that when Rebellion or whatever the next sets come out, then we can drop on those cards.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. That's cool. But yeah, like I says, I do interested in land because that's more my style of things. I like real time strategy games. So if it becomes like that, I'd probably be in it a lot. If you understand what I mean.
Ooh,
Because
what's your favorite RTS?
well, I like the classic. I just like all of them. Like I like Red Alert. Is it Horizon or whatever? Is it Red Alert? I forget what
I
that
don't
is.
know.
Then there's a few others. What's the other?
My
Yeah.
yeah, my RTS days go back all the way to Warcraft 1 and 2. So
They're the
that's
classics. That's what I meant.
yeah.
My bad. I couldn't even think of what it's called. Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
got the slightly newer ones, and then yeah, you got the Red Alert one. Then there's about 3 or 4 different ones I used to play on the PC, but I forget what they were called. There was the
It
Age
was
of Empires and Mythology, the Age of
yeah,
Mythology,
that
Age
was
of
a big one.
Empires. Them two, I enjoyed them two as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I
but
played a really one that I'm wondering how niche this is. I don't even know how we got it. My dad just bought it. It was called Impossible Creatures. Have you ever heard of it?
no, no.
It's probably too old to replay now. I don't think they remastered anything, but it's super cool concept
Mm,
because basically what you do instead of like Warcraft, you're sending out your humans and your orcs or whatever your soldiers. In this one, you essentially got to morph animals together, and that would create different stats and abilities. So you could be like, I want a whale head and body, so it's a really tanky guy with cheetah legs, so it's a little bit faster. I want a porcupine body, so it has this like shield protection and a lizard tongue to do damage. Just like weird
That's
things
a
like that.
that's
And
a
I was
good
like, this is
concept.
super cool. I liked
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but I don't think anyone else I've talked to has ever heard about
Yeah,
it.
like I said, that's a good concept, but I don't think they'd be able to do that in Splinterlands because it'd be too RNG one card.
No, no. Yeah,
Could you imagine if
that
someone
would be
combines
funny.
their whole deck in just one card or something? It'd be
Well,
off chat.
they got the new card out there that's both part of the life and death deck, right? So that's
They
kind of
do.
a combination.
Yeah. Well,
No one's buying it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I say the sales haven't been. I haven't been checking up on that because I've been busy as well. So the sales haven't been going down. So they're at two
Uh
thousand something when I checked, wasn't it? Or they sold
yeah,
2,000.
I haven't like recently checked. That's just
Yeah.
what people in the guild are saying. But all the feedback, all the comments I've been seeing are like, why is this so overpriced? That's all I've heard about it, really. So
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
was
It seems
salty.
weird.
They were very salty. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It just I don't know. I guess what did you think about the price point? Did you buy one?
No, I didn't buy one because, like I says, at the moment I'm in that phase of where I'm like pulling back a bit. Yeah, like I'm going
Yeah.
through my phases. Like I'm probably getting more prepared to buy some common land and stuff like some of that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Stock up on
Well,
that. Yeah,
that's the thing is like one legendary card for whatever it was, like 500-600 bucks, or I can buy four plots of land, or
mm,
you think about Rooney like being a few $100s. You think about Lux Vega being around that price point, and you're like, but that has a lot more value as a summoner that can be played with all decks, or a Rooney that's gonna have all these added
yeah,
benefits.
yeah. You could
And
have
you're
like
like,
yeah,
one
definitely.
legendary card is now 600, 700 bucks right off the gate.
Yeah, yeah. Lux is very good, especially because you could just technically have one splinter. And you'd be
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Unless you
I wish
have
I
the
had bought one.
unless you have that opposite. I think there's 2 rule sets where he doesn't work that add in at all, and you don't get to pick him. I think there's only two rule sets.
The no neutrals. I don't know what the other one
Yeah,
would be.
I think it might be one. It could be I just see it more than often. Yeah, you might
Yeah.
be right. It might be only
I
one.
don't, I don't have one, so
Yeah, neither do I.